Hey everybody, it's Linh Nguyen and Fernando Labastida here in another episode of Linh Talks Tech. Linh is your familiar CEO, the one that you know and love, and I am here just to make him look good. Linh, we were
Everyone.
talking
Thanks.
offline about download issues with downloads, and so I wanted you to expand on that for the audience here.
Yeah, our SAP community knows that you are maintaining software, you're upgrading. We talked about a lot about upgrading, migrating, and all of this scenario, you are needing to get SAP software, right? You're getting software from SAP, you're gonna install or patch or upgrade. You're gonna need a lot of software to get downloaded. And even in the regular day-to-day operations, you may have, like, let's say there's a security note that just came out and you need to download some media, you need to upload it to your server to get it installed or patched. And this is a smaller one-time item, but if you're working typically in a team's environment today, you have multiple people, and most enterprises that we deal with, have a large team, or you're in a managed service provider, you might have 20 or 30 engineers in a team, and each one of them, the way SAP downloads work is you have a client software, what's called SAP Download Manager. You install it on your laptop. You have a user ID credential. You go on support and you say, I need this software. And you basically say add to basket, right? And when you add to your basket, your download manager will download it to your laptop. So let's say you have 100 file. I just recently worked with a customer and we did an upgrade, for instance. We had to download 70 gig of files. 70 gig, a couple hundred files, patches, blah, blah, blah. And so you add it to the basket and the customer added to his basket, and I'm waiting for the files so I can start the upgrade and things like that. Anyway, this download happens with SAP Download Manager to the laptop. Now think about it. You're working from home, 3 days a week or whatever, your hybrid mode or completely remote. You're on your laptop, you're downloading it, and now you got to upload that to the server so you can start the upgrade. So think about getting it down laptop and then re-uploading, and your laptop is going over VPN, not so fast. Maybe you also have security issues. You're downloading today's world where we have cybersecurity concern. Most files you install on corporate servers have to go through what they call kind of a check, a binary check, to make sure that the content is from the signed vendor, right? If it's got anything tampered with it, it will have a problem. So imagine you're downloading stuff on your laptop, and I'm not going to say this might happen, but it could, right? If your laptop is infected with some virus, you could have some injection into the software. And by the time you re-upload to the server and you're doing this install, SAP is going to look at that file header and say, file's no good. This is bad because it's got, tampered with, right? Signature doesn't look good. So we've seen this problem where there's a security concern as well as a waste of time and space to download this thing. And then individually you're uploading to a file repository on your network, in the corporate network, before you can even start doing your patching or upgrade activity. Now think about it. If you've got 10 of these guys, people are working on different systems, downloading the same software, 50% of them may be the same software he's downloading. Nobody knows, but they're downloading, and they got 5 copies of this on the server because everybody's uploading their own copy, put it in their own directory, given their own names sometimes. So you've got duplicates as well sitting there, taking up space, and then there's no lifecycle management. So after you're done with your upgrade, not everybody goes back and clean the space until somebody complain, hey, we're paying, whatever, $3,000 a month, 5,000 for this much storage. And there's like, I've seen customers with like 2 years, 3 years worth of file archives they download, they used it and they never clean up. And then they wonder why they're paying this huge bill every month or every year for storage. When you go and look for a file, it's a big mess because there's like really hundreds of thousands of files there, right? And we all know file servers, right? It gets low and it starts crawling. Anyway, so this pain point is around both housekeeping issue and with issue, security issue, storage, the repository. You don't have a control. You don't have a server base. Everybody's doing a client base. This is why in a team environment, you need something better. And that's what IT-Conductor, in realization of doing a kind of operations to have centralized repository for system, So central repository, of course, everybody know why the advantage of central thing is you only need one copy of things. Everybody's sharing it, right?
Yeah.
We can deduplicate. So if you are team member A, team member B, you need that same file and everybody is unaware of what other people are doing. You're downloading, uploading. We can deduplicate by saying, you add to your basket, I add to my basket, but the Teams-based download manager is going to be able to say, hey, this is the same file. I only need one copy of this. I'm going to download. And you know what? I'm going to download for you directly behind the scene on the server. You don't download to your laptop and re-upload to your server, right? That's just waste of time, space, energy. And so the idea is that, hey, add it to a shared basket of some sort, like everybody has an ID, but the way that our solution work is that, hey, we provide you the convenience that even if you have 10, 20 people in your team, everybody's adding their own thing. This download manager is going to be able to manage all that, bring it down to the server, make it available, deduplicate things, keep an eye on that so that you're not wasting space. And then you're controlling the usage of, a secured environment. So you're not really infecting it by downloading to your laptop and re-upload. I've had case where during the upgrade, if you're doing 50 gig, 60 gig, that phase alone to download it and then have the engineer upload it to the server, could be like a day. Because if you're working, not everybody has benefit, by the way, working with a gigabit internet, working from home, right? You may be getting 50 meg, 100 meg, whatever, right? So imagine you're doing 60, 70 gigabyte, wait for it to come down to your laptop, and then wait and retransfer it up to the network. This, again, slows down the whole enterprise lifecycle management, providing ability to do upgrades efficiently and manage all that. So I will cover some of this during our webinar as well, because this tool is related to what we're talking about, software upgrade and management. How do we make it easier for engineers to do their job without having this task item in a project plan where even downloading software is a big deal? It shouldn't be a big deal. Should go get the stuff, right? Based on whatever we call it, the maintenance plan, where you say, I'm going from A to B. These are all the software I need. Yeah, just add it to the basket, but have it download automatically using the server-based technology rather than client-based technology. So we make it as a convenient thing that we throw in there when people are leveraging our solution to help them with the upgrade and maintenance of the system more efficient, right? Everybody has a user basket, but the server is going to download for you and then deduplicate that. And then you also have a sample repository where you can query and see who downloaded when and where and all that, and manage how much space is still available on the server. Again, in the old days, we used to care about every megabyte of data. Now people think, oh, storage is so much storage. They don't even think about it. But think about the fact that if everybody is multiplying their copies, you're basically just wasting. And then the manager's like, I keep having to approve more, half a terabyte more. That is a big deal in corporate when you're talking about FinOps, maintaining financial, awareness of what they're spending on, the budgeting on, because storage itself could be a very big item. I help customers look at what they need to migrate when they do migration or even maintain their system and saying, hey, you're wasting a lot of space over here. Just like if you have data that you don't archive out and delete, you're consuming storage. But not only on primary storage, every time you back it up too, you make copies of it. So if you have a terabyte that you need to back up and you're backing up every day, right? You're basically backing that thing up, making copies of it. What if you only had like 300 gig because you don't need that 700 that was old stuff that was or duplicates of things? A lot of these become what we call compounding. You're paying for it over and over again. And with cloud as well, it's like that bit and byte is being charged every single hour, every day, right? So if you just keep adding it, the cost will keep growing. It actually never shrink unless you change the way that you say save it off to some cheaper storage and we delete it from primary storage. So all of this technology that we have today doesn't mean that you should just not look at what you're doing and then just waste the resource you have at hand. So I think that's important for us to point out that we create IT-Conductor team-based download manager is to go to server side, to have a repository, to have lifecycle management, and to help people minimize the time it takes them to download something, upload something, and then having to delete something individually as well. It's a major pain. And I think this is one of the things where people don't know what's available out there. They just use what SAP or the vendor provides as the tool or technology, right? If I told you there's no other solution, you just keep using it. You don't really care. But if there's a solution that's better out there and more efficiently manages your resource and time, I think that's a good thing. So that's kind of what we want to highlight as well.
Yeah. So it seems like as though, I mean, there's going to be definitely some time savings involved with this. There's going to be some labor saving, reducing labor intensive stuff, deleting files and, eliminating duplicates, saving of server space, et cetera. What are some of the, if you could quantify some of the benefits of this, how would we do that?
Well, I first of all, security is a definitely benefit, and security, you're not going to be transferring files all over the place. So that's number one, security. You quantify that from a corporate security standpoint. Nowadays, you can't just like randomly stick a USB drive into your laptop, right? And corporate security is important. So managing files is one of the input output that is a high risk because you have a more attack surface. So from a security standpoint, it's definitely better. Secondly, you're providing insights. So just like when we talk about monitoring, right? The more you know about your data, the better. So the more you know about your shared storage, how much you're consuming for, your file-based data is important because you know that, okay, I can justify my spend on cloud based on every month I get a bill or the finance folks. So why are you spending like X amount of dollar on file storage? Why can't you clean it up? Well, cleaning up is a major mess. I've had customers try to clean up. They literally send an email around to everybody saying, hey, could everybody go look and see where your files are or if you need them to delete? Yeah, it sounds like a nice idea, but think about it. You download something 3 months ago, you have no idea either. You go there and you look at it and like, I don't know. I don't know any, right? Lifecycle management means that, you know who downloaded what and when and what was it used for. You can clearly do housekeeping on that, right? But
Yeah.
also the fact is that,
Yeah.
like I say, making it readily available, downloading to a server is a lot faster than downloading to your laptop and re-uploading. So if you have a bunch of projects to upgrade systems and you need the software to patch to run your automation, you need to make sure this is available on the server side and that's handled more optimally. You at home may have a gigabit internet on the server side with connection to SAP support. You could do a 10 gigabit type connection where you're downloading is much faster speed as well. So there's a lot of benefits to speed and time saving. And when we see this as centralized, your teams corporation, right? You just need to do collaboration rather than individually just doing your own thing. So from that perspective, you are complying to more financial kind of awareness as well as being able to efficiently manage your time and energy and space in doing this kind of maintenance. And again, I don't have space on my laptop. Literally, if I'm working a corporate laptop, they may give me like 200 gig of space or 250 gig on my drive, right? Imagine I'm doing an upgrade. I'm downloading 80 gigabit. I may not even have the space to download it, right? And
Yeah.
how hard or how easy it is to like last minute get my laptop upgraded just to do this job, right? It's not that easy. It might sound like trivial, but I had this case where customers literally like downloading to laptop and the guys, I only got 50 gig left storage space, and have to request them to give them a bigger drive, a laptop. That might take 2 days, three
Oh,
days, maybe a week, right? And whereas you just go, you do a server base, you don't need to worry about it. It just goes on the server and you're done, right? So I think the benefit there is also huge. You might not have delays that you anticipate. Something as space should not delay your project, but certainly could if
mhm.
you are wasting time transferring it around a lot.
Yeah. But that's, it just seems like as though they wouldn't have to be downloading something onto a laptop, but instead they should be downloading it onto a server, but using their laptop as a place to control the download, right?
Yeah, another thing you talk about, benefits. Let's say now you have hybrid work and you're at work and there's like 3 or 4 of you sitting in an office and they got their laptop connected to the network and everybody's got something in their basket and maybe the same thing. 3 or 4 of you are downloading the same thing and wonder why the finance team are complaining why network kind of slow. You may have each person have a certain amount of bandwidth to download because SAP does control the download manager, does control like how much bandwidth to suck up. But you got 5 of these people sitting around downloading stuff. It does affect the throughput, the bandwidth available on your network that's shared with everybody as well. So I think it's just prudent because from security and more efficient ways to do it. Like I say, just because you're used to doing something for a long time and you don't know any other option doesn't mean that's the best option. And I think we try to always find these places where we can make it more efficient, can improve it and optimize it. Because optimizing one place, you will find the savings in both time and money for most customers who have a team that's large enough to benefit from something like this.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Have a good one. And we will see you in the next Linh Talks Tech.
Yeah, sure.